We've reached the end of another year, and that means people are getting their resolutions together. Well, me, I'm not a resolution kind of guy. I like to make lists. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I hope you are having a great holiday season. I know it's been a busy one for me so far, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. We always take this time of year to look back on this past year and make resolutions for the new year. You know, whether it's to lose weight or you're going to get a new job or, go back to school. Whatever it is, a lot of people make resolutions, and I don't know the percent, but a lot of people don't follow through those resolutions. Myself, I have never been a resolution guy. I am all about setting goals and making lists. And I always have liked the idea of lists over resolution because there's just something to me that's satisfying about crossing something off and seeing that I got it accomplished. If you're like me, you probably have a list of things to do at home. You know, we all call it our honey-do list. I've got lists at my job. I've got lists at home. I find they keep me on task and they make it more realistic for me to get things done in the time that I want to get them done. When I put lists together, usually what I'll do is I'll just list everything out. And I'll list everything out of all the things that I need to do. And then I usually start with the easiest things and build up until the more complicated things. And I find that that's helpful because it keeps you motivated, keeps you going. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing you cross something off your list. So what does that have to do with the outdoors and getting outside? For me, what this means is it's a time for me to make my list of things that I want to do with Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer and maybe some things that I want to do with my family this year. It gives me some ideas of where I want to go and what I want to do and how I want to get there. And the main thing that it's going to do is it's going to keep me focused. And I thought that this year with the podcast, with the blog, I thought it would be really a neat idea to share my list with you of things that I want to accomplish in 2019. Because when you put it out there, it makes it more real. It makes you more accountable for getting it done. So in this episode, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you my list of things that I want to accomplish with Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer and places that I'd like to go and see and some of the things that I'd like to do this year. And I'm going to put it out there so that I am held accountable to that. And maybe it'll encourage you to put your own list together. The fun part about this is I'm going to be able to hopefully go back at the end of 2019 and look and see how I did. Did I accomplish some of those goals? So let's get started and start talking about my goals and my list for 2019. My first goal is to grow this podcast. I think the best way to spread the word about Wisconsin is through the podcast. You know, podcasts are a growing trend. More and more people are listening to them. You can select what you want to listen to, what shows you want to listen to, what shows you don't want to listen to. And I find myself listening to more and more. And I enjoy being able to actually put my voice to my work and share my personality with you just a little bit more. You know, this coming year, I want to be able to grow this podcast. I want to, get more subscribers, obviously, get more downloads. But I think the biggest thing that I want to do this year is I want to bring people into the podcast. I want to bring people on the podcast. I want to bring experts. I want to bring people who are doing things in the outdoors that are making a difference in Wisconsin. I mean, I'm going to be the first to tell you that I don't know everything about Wisconsin. There's places that I haven't been. There's things that I haven't seen. And I think we can all say that. Wisconsin's a pretty big state. There's a lot to do. With this podcast, I want to find people who are willing to share their knowledge about Wisconsin and find people that are going to get you excited to get out there and explore the state. I want the podcast to be a mix of interviews as well as a mix of my experiences, because I think sharing my experience with you is important, because if it's just all interviews with people and what they're doing, you don't really get a sense of maybe what's working or what's fun or what might not be worth going to see or do. And I think with me and my family, I bring a little something different to it as well, because there's a lot of you out there with kids, and we can't all go away for a weekend and go camping by ourselves or go for, like a week-long hike by ourselves. So I bring a little bit something with my family into my experiences, and I want to keep sharing that with you. So my goal is to find people to bring on the show, share their experiences, their expertise with you, to maybe give you some ideas of things to do or places to go, and yet still keep my personal touch into this podcast so that maybe it gets you excited to try those things with your family or friends as well. The next thing I want to do is I want to post more a video on YouTube. YouTube is a great growing medium. I mean, it's huge, honestly, but it's continuing to grow. Wisconsin is a beautiful place, and video is a great way to promote how beautiful it is. Sometimes words just aren't enough to explain what's so special about this state, and video is the perfect tool, and YouTube is such a great place to share and interact with you guys. And it's so easy for you to share those videos with your friends and on your Facebook pages. And I've posted a few videos in the past, but it's just not enough in my opinion. And I am going to work harder this year to post more videos on YouTube than I have in the past, showing not only places and the beauty of it, but maybe some of my experiences and adventures, and be more in depth about some of the places that I'm going with the video. So, go to the YouTube page, look me up, subscribe to my page, and you can turn them notifications on. So if as soon as I do post something, you're going to be one of the first ones to be able to see that. The next thing is one I've been thinking on for a while. I'm hearing more and more about how more people are starting Facebook groups. And the reason I'm thinking about starting this Facebook group is I think it's going to be a great way for you to connect with me, and me to connect with you, and you to connect with others. Facebook groups are a growing trend as well, and they allow me to be more in contact with you. It could be a great place for us to share travel ideas, events, maybe your favorite camping spot or some favorite ATV trails. And maybe even gear, some of the stuff you're using, or maybe something that you used that you didn't like and you want to share with other people. The one thing about Facebook groups is the only way those are successful is if you're involved with it as well. I can start one, but it really isn't going to be any good if we're not all a part of it and not all bringing something to the table. Eventually what happens with these is we can use them to discuss podcasts. We can use them to discuss the blog or certain topics. So those can be jumping off points that we can use to kind of get the discussions rolling and get us talking to each other a little bit more. So I think it's going to be a really great way for us to share what we love about our state and share it with a lot of people. One of my biggest goals this year is to find more ways to connect with you. I think the success of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer is going to be dependent on how much input you have with me. I can get up here and talk to you about all my experiences and bring in people, but feedback is important because I want to talk about things that you want to talk about or you're interested in. Right now, there are a few ways you can connect with me. You can email me. You can log on to wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. You can email me and contact me that way. I am on Facebook. You can messenger me there, and you can send me a message on Instagram as well and Twitter. There's ways right now to reach out to me, but I want to encourage you to subscribe to the webpage. I'm going to be working on ways to use my subscription to send you information about what I'm working on, when a podcast is available. Maybe, if there's a special guest I got coming on the podcast that you're going to know who that is, and I can give you a little bit of background that way about it. I'm also thinking possibly maybe I can do something quarterly where there's events or activities that are going on that might be important or that you might find interesting. I just want to be able to connect with you and give you more ideas about the state. And the only way I'm going to be able to grow is with your help and your input. So one of my main focuses this year is going to be to try to connect with you a little bit more. And to do that, subscribe to my page, and I'm going to be able to connect with you a little bit more in, like I said, sending you emails. I'm not going to email bomb you. I don't like that either. I subscribe to a few pages already, and I'm getting emails like 3 times a week. That's not going to be me. I don't want that, because I don't want to do that to you, because I don't want that. So they're going to be emails about, like I said, maybe special guests, places to visit, or things that I'm working on that I want you to get excited about. So watch for that. That's some of the stuff that I'm working on now. But again, it's all about connecting with you and understanding what you're interested in. So those are a few of my goals for Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. I think it's important to set those, because for me to just keep doing this week in and week out, I need those goals. I need to be able to move forward. And that's great for this brand and what I'm trying to do here. But I've also set myself some goals this year about things that I want to do in the outdoors and things that I want to see. And I want to share those with you as well, because I want you to understand that there's still a lot for me to learn about this state, and there's still a lot for me to do and things that I haven't done, because I don't want you to think that I have done it all. I don't want that. I want you to understand that there's always room to learn more and do more and try new things. And I want that to be, and I want to share those experiences with you as I do them. So one of the first things that I want to try to do this year is I want to try snowshoeing. My family really enjoys hiking in the warm months. And when winter rolls around, I think we kind of miss going out and just walking around and just spending time together that way. So this year, now that my kids are a little bit older, that they can handle this, I want to try snowshoeing for the first time. I've never done it, never even put a pair on before, and I think this would be a lot of fun for my family. And I'm not going to go buy snowshoes right away. I know there's places that you can rent them and try them, but I think it would be a fun experience for my family to try this, and if we enjoy it, it's something that'll get us out into hiking trails and state parks all year long. And honestly, I'm really kind of looking forward to trying this. So I know some of you might be happy that there's not a lot of snow right now and it's not really cold, but I'm kind of wishing there was some snow on the ground. I really want to see some snow on the ground so that we can go snowshoeing. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a lot of fun documenting it and sharing that with you and sharing my family's experience with you. So let's just hope we get a little bit of snow so that I can do this and try this out. And hopefully if that's something on your bucket list this year that you can try out, that you've wanted to try, that you get to do it as well, because that's what it's all about, is just trying to keep winter fun, try to get out there and do different things and do new things. And I think snowshoeing would be a really fun thing to try this year, and I'm really kind of looking forward to giving it a shot. This next one is kind of like the snowshoeing. It's kind of dependent on the weather, and I really want to get up and visit the Apostle Island ice caves this year. But this is kind of a hit and miss thing, and I'm not sure how long it was. It was like 3 or 4 years ago that they happened, and everybody was up there, and it was so cold, but it was so cool. But our kids were a little bit young to go, so we didn't go. And every year since, it hasn't been cold enough for them to appear. So I'm really hoping right now that we do get some cold weather. It's going to have to get really cold, though, for them to happen this year. And I'm not sure that's going to happen. But if it does happen this year, we are definitely going to take a day trip up there and go see them and experience them. Because anybody that I talked to that went up there and saw the ice caves said it was just completely amazing. And they were so happy that they took the trip and took the long walk to go see them. So that's one of those things where I'm hoping it happens. It's not looking good right now, but if it doesn't happen this year and happens next year, it's definitely going to be back on my list. So hopefully that happens. Another thing I want to try to do is I want to try to go to a few more festivals that are unique to Wisconsin. I attend quite a few festivals during the year, but I find myself going to the same festivals. I think like everybody else does, we kind of get comfortable with where we're going, and you know, whether you belong to a community, you always are going to that same festival. But this year I kind of want to try to get to a couple that really make Wisconsin special. Believe it or not, I've never been to the Iola Old Car Show. I love car shows, and I love walking around looking at the old cars, but I've never been to Iola. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say that because I'm a car guy. I like cars, and I've never been there. My schedule has never allowed me to take the time to go down there. It seems like that is like the busiest weekend in Wisconsin. There's just so much going on that same weekend, and I've always had something going on. So this year, I'm really, really going to try hard to make it to Iola, and I've got so many cool ideas to share Iola with you that I really hope that I get down there. Another one I want to try to get to this year is the Warren's Cranberry Fest. I know that that's always a busy, busy festival, but I've never been there. My wife has been there a couple times, and that's one of our things that we want to try to get to this year. I'd like to experience that and see the excitement and what everybody talks about when they go down there for that. So that's one of them ones that I'd like to get on my list this year. I'd also like to get down to the state fair. When I was a kid, our county fair was usually the same time as the state fair. So we never went down to the state fair. And again, that's one of those places that my wife has been, and I'm really hoping that we can make our schedules work this year, that I can get down to the state fair at least one day. I think by sharing those new experiences that I am having with you is kind of neat. You know, I think people who go to these every year, and maybe they miss out on that excitement and that freshness a little bit. And I'm hoping to share my perspective of these events so that maybe you'll get excited and put them on your list, your bucket list, whatever you want to call it, your goals. So those are the few things that I want to do. And I could list off a dozen things that I want to go see or places that I want to go. But, you know, we've only got a certain amount of time, and sometimes you just got to pick and choose the ones you'd like to go to, and those are a few that I'd like to go to. Another one that I really want to try to do this year is visit a few more state parks. And for me, I like to go to a new state park. We have a lot of state parks in Wisconsin, and that's one of my goals this year is to try to get to, I don't know, maybe a half a dozen more this year. And again, that's all kind of how my schedule works out and how my family's schedule works out, because to me, the state parks are great family day adventures for us to go hiking and exploring. And I might get back to a few that I've been to. Devil's Lake comes to mind. There's so much there that we could walk around and explore a little bit more there. But I'd really like to pick up a few new ones this year, because by sharing those new ones with you and sharing my experiences with you, it might encourage you to attend those as well. So I really love the state parks. I think they're a great resource for us. One of the things that I am lucky about is I live in central Wisconsin. A day trip is a lot easier for me than if I lived in the southern state part of the state and then tried to drive up north. So for us, being in central Wisconsin, it's kind of easier to hit up the state park system in Wisconsin because we are centrally located. So that's kind of my goal. I haven't set, like I said, maybe a half a dozen I'd like to attend this year, but again, we'll see what happens. And I'm hoping that we definitely do get to some more this year. And the nice thing about the state parks is we can visit them all year. And like I've said in some past podcasts, you can visit it in the winter and visit again in the summer and get a totally different experience from it. So that's kind of fun too. You can, double dip a few times and see something completely and totally different. Definitely more state parks is on my to-do list this year. And of course, I want to do more photography this year. I think that's where it all started for me. That's why I started doing this. I love sharing my work and inspiring you to see things. And I take a lot of images throughout the year, and I want to continue to do that. And I also want to continue to try to use my drone a little bit more. I think the drone really brings a new perspective that most people can't experience. And it gives you a fresh perspective. And to be able to show Wisconsin from any angle is really kind of special. And I think that's something that I want to try to share with you more this year. So there's my list of things that I want to accomplish in 2019. I'm really looking forward to 2019. I think all my goals are achievable. Some are going to take a little longer to accomplish than others, but that's the point of writing them down and presenting them to you. It's going to hold me accountable, and I hope to be able to look back at the end of 2019 and see how much I've accomplished, and hopefully did a lot, and hopefully I gained a lot, and hopefully I connected more with you throughout the year. So before I go, I want to know what your outdoor goals are for 2019. What are you putting on your list of things to do for this year, or things to see, or things to experience? Let me know, comment on this podcast, or connect with me on Facebook, and let's just all have a great 2019 being one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.